Hello everyone, welcome to ES6, a crash course. What is ES6? ES6 is version 6 of the ECMAScript programming language and it is a standardized name for JavaScript, right? So what is new in ES6? So what is not there in ES5 and why has ES6 been introduced? Right. So when programmers were using ES5, there were a lot of scenarios where they had to use many libraries like Lodash libraries and many array helper methods. They were trying to use many methods from other libraries, and the ES6 guys have understood that these are the core features which we are supposed to have, and in ES6 they have brought in many built-in methods um, to which will simplify or standardize the scenarios which the developers of ES5 were actually facing, right? So the main motto of ES6, if you see, it is going to give you a lot of new built-in methods which can come very handy, and it is also going to strive and reduce as much repeated code as possible, right? So you'll see all of that in the coming videos, and I've listed some of the ES6 features which we are going to look at in the course, right? So we are going to start with let and const, right? The very first thing which I get to remember about ES6 and the very basic thing which they've introduced is let and const variables, right? Let's see what it is. So for the course, I have used something called playcode.io, which is very easy to kind of code and then show you what is the output in the console, which is on the other side. You can please use whichever is editor which you're comfortable with, right? You can choose any of the online JavaScript editors, or you can even choose to use Visual Studio Code, right? So I'm going to use playcode.io. So let us start with the first topic for the day, which is let and const. Let me delete whatever I already have here, right? So before let and const, what were we using in ES5? We were using var, right? Var. So how do we define a variable in ES5? We say var a is equal to 5, right? For example, and then I say console.log of a, right? And then it prints 5 when I do that, right? So the same way, I will be able to redefine a again. I can say var a is equal to 6, right? Console.log of a. There is no problem. There is absolutely no problem in defining or redefining the variable again and again in the same scope when we use var, right? This leads to a lot of confusion many times in the programming language, in many of our programs, right? We do not know at which point our variable is getting changed. We do not know when our scope of the variable is polluted, right? So this problem is very well handled when you go with let and const, right? So if you have a program where you'll have to define some constants, right? Say for example, I have a constant named I say for example I have a constant named name is equal to, say, Dave, right? So Dave is the name of the person, and it is let's assume that it's going to be a constant always. It's not going to change, right? In that case, it makes most sense to uh, make the variable as a constant and not declare it as a var, right? Suppose I'm going to have um, the age of a person, right? Say age is equal to, say, he's 21 years old. So in this case, age varies, right? As time goes by, the person ages, so the age is going to vary. It's a varying component, so it makes most sense for us to make it as let, right? So in general, the thumb rule is constants we can use the keyword const, and for varying variables we can use the keyword let. And when you have let, it will not allow you to redefine or redeclare the variable again in the same scope. So if I say let age is equal to 22, on the other side you can see there is already an error. Identifier age has been declared already, right? So but this is not the case with var. You can again and again and again redeclare your variables, right? So this is one of the advantage of using let. And same way, using name, which is a constant, you will not be able to redefine the value for name, right? So you have a clear differentiation between what is a constant and what is a variable. So you will be able to control the variables which are going to change in the code, and you will have a clear readability in your code. So this is very important. Whenever you have a code, it is always important to know what is a variable and what is a constant.